Let's talk more about Police Minister Senzo Mchunu's appearance at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry and bring into the conversation independent security analyst Prof Jacob Mofokeng. A very good evening to you, Prof. Welcome to the SABC News Channel. So, right at the beginning of proceedings today, the Police Minister's legal team led by Advocate Tembeka Ngugai-Toby indicating that they want to be allowed to re-examine at the end of his evidence, possibly on Friday. What indication does that give us? What can we read into the seriousness with which Mchunu is treating the Madlanga process and perhaps even his strategy going in?
Good evening, Tembekile. Good evening to SABC News viewers. Yes, we have observed, and as early as when he appeared at our committee, that indeed he wants to, secure his job as well as probably his reputation. And for his lawyers to be able to make that submissions is for, considerations that whatever that could have been submitted, as well as those that evidence that has been submitted by witnesses that implicate the minister, it's supposed to be interrogated thoroughly so that at the end of the hearing, probably when the Madlanga Commission submit a report to the president, then there will not be gray areas that will be submitted, that could put his job as well as reputation in a very compromised position.
So if, for example, his evidence of his innocence is solid, it makes you wonder what the purpose or the goal would be with the request to re-examine at the end. What opportunity, what unique opportunity do you think that will give him as far as proving his innocence, which he so clearly intends to do?
Well, it's about what is at stake for him. Remember, most of the times when we read as well as we watch, the news, it's about, many people that have testified, except that, about Matala and Brown, whom then they did not really say anything in association with what has been submitted. But most of the witnesses, they really put a lot of weight as well as the demands on him to say that, well, the odds are against him. So that's why then he had to bring, very highly decorated, law, advisors so that he can try to be able to, be seen that whatever that has been submitted, it was misunderstanding. We need to be able to understand that he made mention of 2 work studies, of which, generals in Tumule as well as others made mention that, well, he was still on the orientation, of which he disputed today to say, well, until probably the end of December, then he did that part, and there was certain repetition, meaning what? That his decisions was valid. But probably what we'll expect then on Thursday, it will be whether those work studies are they legally binding for him to be able to come with that kind of a decisions, but also looking at the structure that he provided to, to the public today. It was, signed, off on May 2025, of which he did indicate that actually, in principle, it was approved in 2024.
Right.
But the legality of that, it is that it was not yet an official document, and because the labor union could have disputed and there could have been other amendments to that particular structure.
And on the point about Mchunu's very short tenure, at the point at which he decided to start the process to possibly disestablish the political killings task team in particular, he'd only been in office, I think, for about 5-6 months when this happened in December of last year, as we've been told. I wonder if that lack of experience in the Police Portfolio Committee at the time that all of this was going on would ultimately then work against him as a member of cabinet, or if it offers him an out as a person who could then plead ignorance about the processes of the office leading up to the decisions that have now got him in trouble.
Well, he was careful to be able to indicate that, the decision he took, it was not only about the PKTT that had to be rearranged, but other, anti-gang units. But it could really put to him, even his lawyers, to be able to try to prove that the decision that he took, he was not irrational, then it was based on informed decisions. Remember, what was put before General Nsintumule, it was whether there are systems in place to be able to check whether there are, value for money, return of investment, of which they are not there. So he's trying his very best to observe. You can even hear that he's watching every proceeding so that he can try to build that particular case. So what he will submit probably again on Friday, it will be that everything was above the board and there's nothing wrong that he did.
So realistically, though, for Senzo Mchunu, whatever this commission, the Madlanga inquiry and the ad hoc committee find, can a police minister come back from allegations as serious as what he is facing at the moment and go back to the same portfolio?
Well, it is possible, for him to come back. It depends whether those that have submitted, witnesses that spoke, against him, then are supposed to bring evidence on the table. Otherwise, he will have to come back. It will be a difficult, time of the office where there has been that kind. Remember, he has been, querying the lack of decisions to the police commissioner. So it will be difficult for him to come back. So even if he will win that particular matter, but working again with those that are in senior positions, especially, General Masemola and others, it will be quite difficult.
Thank you so much for your time. Independent security analyst, Professor Jacob Mofokeng. Thank you.